Everyone, welcome back here to Surplus Systems. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about everything in regards to virtual assistants when it comes to the surplus fund business. All right, my name is Charlie here. I'm the owner of Surplus System, which is an automated CRM. All right, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, say hello, and if you get value from this video, make sure you share it with other individuals. All right. So number one, let's talk about how VA can actually help you in your business. Okay. So everything I'm telling you here is my personal opinion from my experiences. Okay. So there's no right or wrong way on how to actually use a virtual assistant, but I'm just gonna give you my perspective. Okay. So I think of using a virtual assistant in one way. You could use them as far as research. The second way I see you could use a virtual assistant as far as helping them have them helping you do cold calling. And then the third way I can see you doing having a virtual assistant is having one do like admin, paperwork, and things like that, right? So I like to break it up in three different phases based on the business itself, right? What's the problem with VAs, right? So the problem with VAs is you have to spend a lot of time training them, a lot of time teaching them, a lot of time showing them and educating them on how to do active listening, um, explaining to them how to slow down when they doing certain things, attention to detail, right? But what I find is a lot of times with someone new and they get a virtual assistant, they just expect that VA to run the business for them. And what I find is when you do that, um, you pretty much suffocate your business because you pretty much saying, "Hey, you gonna run the business for me? I'm just gonna sit back and collect checks." Okay. Now there is a way to have VAs running your business, so that way it's streamlined. It's a money making machine, and everything just flows the way it's supposed to flow. But the key is not throwing everything on that VA at one single time. Okay. So now let's break this up for a little bit. Okay. So you can get a VA, and the only thing they do is research, right? Researching cases, verify the surplus, making sure there's no liens, making sure there's no debt or anything like that. Okay. Then you get a VA who focus strictly on cold calling, um, filtering through the leads, making sure you, as the business owner, are the only one speaking to people that's interested or ready to go as far as making the deal, right? Then you can have a VA who actually help you as far as preparing the paperwork, right? They could be like your case manager VA. Okay. Now here's what I can tell you. I honestly feel you only need two VAs in this business. One to do research and one that can do cold calling. Okay. Now here's the tip. If you're looking for a VA to help you with research, here's my tip to you. Find a VA that has experience with title work. Find a VA that has experience with understanding debts, understanding what liens are. Find a VA that's already have that experience. Okay, they don't necessarily need to have the experience with the overage business, but if they understand title, debt, liens, like that VA is 10 times ahead of the game versus you trying to teach someone that's brand new about research. Okay, now here's the beauty of this: if you find a VA who strictly have experience with title and debt, the only thing you need to do is just educate them on what specifically you're looking for in the research, right? Now, as far as skip tracing, you really don't need a VA for skip tracing because there's so many automated softwares out there right now that will allow you to skip trace your leads. All right. So now, check this out. You go to Upwork, go to Fiverr, look for someone that has experience with title work, debt, and looking for liens. Okay. Guess what? Your research is out the way, right? So now you find you a VA that's good with cold calling. Okay. What I like to do is I like to find a VA that has experience with B2B, that does some type of commission role when it comes to cold calling. But mostly important, if you can find a VA that has experience with cold calling, wholesaling real estate, that been doing it for a while, getting the VA from there and bring them over to the overage business night and day is gonna be so much better because they already used to the rejection with wholesaling real estate. So showing them the overage business, showing them just how to talk to people with the overage business, you're not gonna have any issues with that because they already experienced with being on the phone. Okay. Now here's what I want to tell you. If you want your cold caller to eventually get to the point where they closing for you, okay, here's what I'm encouraging you to do. Take 90 days spending with that VA who's cold calling for you, okay? Meet up with that VA once a week, all right? Another thing you're going to do is every time they speak to an individual on the phone, have that VA send you the call recording so that way you can listen to it. So that way, when you do meet up with that VA for the week, you guys actually have something to communicate with and talk about. All right. Now, after the 90 days, if you feel like, man, they killing it with the cold calling, they understand the model, they understand our culture, they understand the verbiage. After those 90 days, if they good cold calling, now you can start easily moving them to the phase of now where they actually starting to close deals for you. Okay, tell you a story. So I found the VA on Upwork. They had sales experience. I brought them in. They didn't have no over experience, no surplus experience at all. Right? They just had sales experience. So I educated them and taught them the verbiage in the overs business, and I trained them. Right, 90 days straight. They was on the phone, and we was meeting up once a week, and throughout the day they would send me a message and I would answer questions. Okay. After the 90 days, they got comfortable on the phone, they got comfortable with the systems, they got comfortable with talking to people regarding the overages. Now I can say, hey, you know what? You're doing really well. The next step in this process is I want to show you how we actually take things to the finish line. So then it got to the point where the first 90 days I was doing the closing, right? After the 90 days, I was able to move my VA to the closing phase. And guess what? Now I have a researcher, I have a cold caller, and a closer. My business is automated. All right. But one thing I want you to understand is this: don't throw everything at that VA at once. Okay? What if I just threw everything at you at once? You wouldn't get it. Okay? And these VAs are from different countries. They don't understand everything. So you gotta give it to them piece by piece by piece by piece. Just think about it. Before you jump into overs business, and you got a 9 to 5, right? Did they just throw everything at you, throw the whole book at you? Or no, they said, hey, we're going to start you here. As you get comfortable with here, we're going to transition you to here. Once you get comfortable with that, we're going to transition you to that. Guess what? It's the same thing when it comes to these VAs. If I'm telling you, if you do it this way, you're going to have so much more success working with your virtual assistant and be able to grow your business long term, okay? Now, here's another thing I want you to understand. When your VA mess up, it's not your VA fault. It's the leader fault. It's the owner fault. That just means you're not giving them proper training. Okay. Um, and you have to create an environment where your VA feel comfortable coming to the table, actually having a conversation with you. Your VA actually comfortable where giving a input. I tell my VA, look, you in the trenches every single day. Any questions, any concerns, any suggestions you want to add or bring to the table as a company, I'm 100% okay with that. I want you to, I want to hear from you, okay? Instead of having this approach where I'm the boss, I'm the dictatorship, whatever I say goes, right? Then that VA is going to be scared to bring things to you, and you're going to be wondering why things are not moving properly in your business, all right? But look, I just wanted to give you guys some tips, some guidance on when you get in the virtual assistant, how to actually help them progress forward. I had some people on Facebook reach out to me like, man, I got a VA, but I don't know what to do with them, or I don't know how to help them progress forward to the next level, right? So I just wanted to give you guys some information on that, all right? But also, look, if you're looking for a VA service where the VA is trained on CRMs, they trained on the overage business, okay, and they manage, okay? I'm actually starting a VA agency. Yep, it's called Surplus Systems VA Consultant, right? Where we actually gonna train them on the surplus fund business. We're gonna train them on any CRM, any dialer you actually use. We're gonna manage the virtual assistant for you, okay? And we're gonna be taking them step by step through the process for you, right? So if that's something you're interested in and you're looking for a VA, just shoot me an email at charlie@surplussystems.io, and I'll make sure you get taken care of. All right. But hey, this is Surplus Systems, and we out.